Did you ever cover yourself in Vaseline?
No,
We got the wrong person. Are you Michael Dorsey?
I am Michael Dorsey.
Why are you? Do you know where the aggravated burglary charge comes from?
No, when they came get me at nighttime, took me to the police station. They said I was charged with criminal trespass. I was on government property on the board list.
Well, in a few minutes, you'll understand why Sheriff Prater made that statement because this man, well, he seems to deny doing all the crimes that he's locked up for. He's facing a 45-year sentence for being a serial offender of little ones. Anyways, I'll unpack it at the end.
And I think this is our last rodeo there at Wade, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you again for hosting us, and thank you for all the good work y'all do at Wade. We appreciate that. Okay, Mr. Dorsey, Michael Dorsey, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, my name is Steve Prater, and I'm the acting chairman today. And this is the board that's going to be determining whether you get out of jail or not, whether you be paroled or not. To my left is Carolyn Stapleton. To my right is Pete Freeman. So the way that this will go is I'll first ask you why you feel like you're worthy of being considered to be paroled. Then we will ask the warden to tell us exactly what kind of an inmate you've been. Then we will ask some questions and then we'll vote. It's a pretty simple procedure, okay? So it starts off with you, Mr. Dorsey. Tell us why you feel like you should be considered for parole today. In other words, sell us on what you want.
For first, I want to say good evening and thank God I'm still here. And my number one, my responsibility, I own up to what I did. And my remorse, I am sorry. My rehabilitation, I've been AA, and I go to church. I got living in balance, big awareness, and I have I went to Kairos. I did anger management. But at the time I first come down here in 06 from the state penitentiary, I tried to get in something, but they didn't allow me to get in at that time. I had too much time.
Okay.
That's it. That's it.
All right. Okay, we appreciate it. Warden, what have you what kind of an inmate has Mr. Dorsey been?
Well, Michael got here in 2006. He's had a total of 14 write-ups, with his last one being an aggravated sex offense in 2018. He entered general population in 2019 and has been able to stay in general population since then. He hasn't had any educational programming. We spoke about that the other day, and he said he hadn't tried to get into school since about 2006. And so what I'd like to see is he does have about 11th grade education. So I'd like to see him try to, at least get his high set, since he's, got at least 11th grade education. He has completed substance abuse, victim awareness, and anger management. He hasn't had any rule infractions since 2018. And so currently he's got a decent job referral, a job evaluation, and hasn't been any recent issues for us at all.
Great. Thank you, Warden. Appreciate you. Carolyn Stapleton, you are the lead interviewer on here. You start us off, please.
Yes, sir. Today I'm looking at the offense here that you're a third class felony offender, and you have an unauthorized entry of an inhabited dwelling, distribution of Schedule I controlled dangerous substance, aggravated burglary, and third felony habitual offender. And your sentencing dates were June 22nd, 2000, September 2nd, 2005, March 5th, 1998. And you got 6 years hard labor, and then 5 years hard labor, and 45 years hard labor, and another 5 years hard labor. And it doesn't say if they're consecutive or concurrent. So I'm not sure about that. So I want to ask you about your extensive criminal history. I see that, let's see, in 97, you pled guilty to distribution of Schedule 1 drugs. Am I correct? 97, way back then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then we move up and we have 99, while on probation, you committed the offense of simple rape and burglary. What about that one?
No, I ain't never had no rape charge. They never when I took a saliva test on that, they never came back, you know what I'm saying? They came back with the judge and the DA told them, come tell me I gotta cop out the 6 years or something, give me something. That's when I cop out the 6 years. Well,
Yeah, 'cause what I see here is on June 24th, 1999, Dorsey committed the offenses of simple rape and simple burglary and was arrested by the Shreveport Police Department. On September the 25th, 2000, Dorsey's probation was revoked per new felony conviction of the unauthorized entry into an inhabited dwelling. And then you were released on good time parole. And then on 2004, you committed the offense of indecent behavior with juveniles, unauthorized entry of an inhabited dwelling, criminal trespassing, and was arrested again by the Shreveport Police Department. Tell me about that one.
I just that's one I just told you about. When I got arrested on 4, I played guitar. I was in the city and I played guitar on criminal trespass. But as I'm doing my time, they came and got me and took me to Cato and charged me with aggravated burglary. But my open primary hearing, 2004, the same time, I went to my open primary hearing and the judge dismissed out of courtroom, put me in another courtroom down in Cato. I got charged in the city and the parish. I cop out the criminal trespasses in the city and the parish. They charged me with aggravated burglary. But I'm up on the I got a new rep sheet because I fed up on the I wanted a high benefit. They said I was a second offender, not a third offender.
Right.
And they gave me put me stretched that out, gave me put me on the Ag 122. And I don't know nothing else from that.
Okay, well, it's got here that there was an 11-year-old victim and a 14-year-old victim that you broke into the house where it was criminal trespassing, and you made very vulgar remarks to them, and then you touched them in a vulgar manner, both of them. That's when you were charged with these offenses. And you're saying that they didn't happen? Because both of the girls were interviewed independently by a child advocacy center. And that's when they each independently told what you did. And you were 39 years old. And like I said, they were 11 and 14.
I don't know nothing. I just know I played guilty on criminal trespassing. And they charged me with aggravated burglary at the parish. And I went to trial and I ain't never said nothing else to show my paperwork. That's it. And
Okay.
I'm up on a number of jury right now, up on that 10-2-11-1 that said I had 45 years. I was sentenced to 20 years from the judge at the parish. But he vacated the 20 and Marthaville did a Marthaville hearing. So when the Marthaville hearing came back, they say you don't care no life sentence. I'm gonna give him what I want him to have. So he gave me a 45-year sentence on aggravated burglary.
There you go. Okay, well, that answers all my questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, other than you need to know, you have extreme opposition with the judge and with another judge and with the chief of police. So you need to know that too.
Okay. Mr. Freeman,
I have no question.
did you rape anybody?
No, sir.
Did you fondle anybody that didn't want to be fondled?
No, sir.
Did you break in a house wanting to do that?
No, sir. When they got me, I was in my bed asleep when the police come
I
and
don't-
arrest me.
I don't care about,
I
don't
plead
care
guilty to everything.
what'd you take the fan out of that woman's window for?
I ain't never know about no fan. They got me off my bed, sleep.
I don't care where they were when they arrested you. I'm trying to get the facts of why they arrested you. So why did they arrest? Did you break in somebody's house?
I ain't wrecking nobody's house.
So that
Well,
aggravated burglary,
I had got charged in the city first in 72 hours.
right? Then
I
you got
played guilty.
transferred to the parish.
Yeah, I played guilty as I was doing my 10 days. They came and got me on the 4th day. It took me over there and charged that later on that 4 day that morning, they charged me with aggravated burglary. But on my pyramid,
Mr. Dorsey? Did you ever cover yourself in Vaseline?
no,
We got the wrong person. Are you Michael Dorsey?
I am Michael Dorsey.
Why do you know where the aggravated burglary charge comes from?
No, when they came get me at nighttime, took me to the police station, they said I was charged with criminal trespass. I was on government property on the board list.
Okay, do you know where the distribution of Schedule 1 CDS comes from? Did you sell dope or give dope away or something?
Now I had some empty packs, some jury paper, but it's fair for Navy though. Yes, I admit to that.
That's your first offense he's talking about.
Right, yes, sir. That's right.
And you didn't. Okay, you pled to these things, didn't you? You pled
Yes,
guilty,
sir.
but you didn't do it.
I say, I played guilty to Schedule 1 inheritance of Wellington.
Did you?
My first 2 charges.
Okay, can I clarify, Mr.
Yeah, I
Prater?
mean, please throw me a lifeline here.
The last charge he was convicted on under docket 237289,
Right?
on the bill of information, it does have aggravated burglary, but in the comments, it says that he was entered into the dwelling located at this address without authorization and with the intent to commit a felon while therein to indecent behavior with a juvenile, 1481, and committed a battery of a juvenile. But he pled, or they let him plead to aggravated burglary instead of the other charges, so they were dropped.
Okay. So you pled guilty to the aggravated burglary. Did you do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's, my ears must be playing jokes on me because I thought you said no before.
Yeah.
Aggravated criminal trespass that I was in the city with.
You don't have criminal trespassing that you're serving here
I
on.
know.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, they found me guilty of charge and going to trial on aggravated burglary.
Yeah,
But I ain't
okay.
never, right.
But you didn't do it, but they found you guilty.
Yeah, I did it. I played guilty to everything.
Okay, so you did do the aggravated burglary.
Yeah, I admit it. Yes, sir.
I'm through.
I'm getting old.
I'm ready to vote.
Getting old.
Ready to vote. Whose case was this?
Here's mine.
I'm dizzy. Go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Dorsey, based upon your extensive criminal history and your extensive violent and sexual criminal history, and then the law enforcement opposition and victim opposition, I deny your parole.
I concur. I feel you're a public safety risk. You wasn't charged with the rape, but the woman did have sexual trauma. There was some kind of sexual event that took place, and the 2 juveniles also. So that's 3 different victims. So my vote is to deny public safety issue.
And my vote also is to deny. I don't think you've served enough of the time that you were given for the crimes that you pled down to and were found, or at least found guilty of. And so for those reasons, your parole today has been denied. Warden, thank you for hosting us all afternoon and all morning. And good luck, sir, and keep trying your best, and we'll see you next time you apply.
All right, thank you.
141, thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
Well, I gotta tell you, this board, this might be my favorite panel of the new board formation. Having Mr. Pete Freeman, the sheriff, and the victim's advocate, Ms. Stapleton, all together. They ran this pretty smooth today. I don't know if you saw. So this was the final hearing of a long day. So I think you kind of felt their energy. They were excited to be able to go home, eat something, whatever. And just the way that they played this hearing was done in just such a way, because they had nothing to work with. The man is dangerous. The man is a serial offender. The judge gave him, I mean, they're not clear on if the sentences were consecutive, concurrent, but it didn't really make a difference. One of the sentences alone were 45 years of hard labor. And just think about the idea that in 99, he's arrested for simple sexual assault. He gets out in 2004, 5 years on parole. He does indecent behavior with juvenile, 11 and 14 years old. He's allowed a plea deal on that, with those assaults being dismissed, and then he gets another offense, which is my understanding. And finally, they say, you know what, we'll give you the 45 years plus all these different, and you might say, well, how is it possible that he's even up for parole? You know, this happened in 2005. You're doing the math on the calculator thing, and it's because of Act 122. Now, many of you might be already familiar with this act because it's something we've discussed many times, but if you're not, it's you can see here, it passed in 2021. About 3,000 Louisiana inmates could get parole under the new law. Here's who would be eligible. And they say the path to hell is written in good intentions. There's a lot behind this Act 122. It's loaded as to why it's made, and the Parole Project, if you're familiar with them, was a big part of the legislation in this act because it funneled them 3,000 potential clients, is what they call them. It's a great act for someone who's been locked up a really long time for selling marijuana, but not a great act when you are clearly a dangerous person. Now, a new prison standard that became the law Saturday allows nearly 3,000 lifers, habitual criminals, and old-timers, including armed robberies, to apply for parole to eventually could free them for decades behind bars. As startling as it sounds, prosecutors and law enforcement are okay with the change of Act 122, as it untangles at least one strand from the bowl of spaghetti that basically has levied different sentences and parole eligibilities for the crime, depending on when the person was convicted during the past 3 decades. The state's morass of overlapping and contradictory parole rules and laws were mostly enacted during the war on crime in the 80s and 90s. 2000s, putting Louisiana at the top of the list per capita incarceration. And again, I'm all for that. I think most of us watching this are for that and say, yes, please, this is beautiful. But how come we never see parole hearings of those who are locked up for distribution or possession? We only see these parole hearings for what seems to be the most dangerous of offenders. And in a nutshell, it basically gives, like who we saw, people parole eligibility. Now we're going to hear from Carrie Myers, our very own. This is a very significant piece of legislation that restores equity in our system, says Carrie Myers, Deputy Director of the Louisiana Parole Project in Baton Rouge, not-for-profit that provides legal representation for residential reentry services and parole-eligible people sentenced to life in prison. And for those of you who are not familiar, Carrie Myers was found guilty of killing his wife and almost killing his child. And the craziest thing is that he made up the most bizarre story about how it happened. It's so bizarre. It's hard. It's actually almost comical what he had claimed to have.
Edwards this week granted release to a man accused of murder in one of the most bizarre criminal cases in Jefferson Parish history. Investigative reporter Mike Pearlstein and our partners at the New Orleans Advocate broke the story earlier today, and Mike joins us with these bizarre details.
Bizarre is right. And Ton, what we have is longtime Angola inmate and convicted murderer Kerry Myers will be on his way to freedom soon after the governor signed an order this week to commute his life sentence to 30 years, making him immediately eligible for parole. In a 1984 case that confounded even detectives and prosecutors with its many twists and turns, Myers was convicted of killing his wife after a trial in 1990. But that came after Myers had previously been the star witness against another man, William Fontenelle, testifying that his former friend used a baseball bat in the killing. But after Fontenelle's first trial ended in a hung jury, prosecutors decided to go after both men for murder. While Fontenelle was convicted of manslaughter by a jury, Myers decided to go with a judge trial and was astounded when he was found guilty. Here's Myers in an old WWL-TV prison interview.
When you heard the verdict, what?
Couldn't believe it. I don't see how the man could have come to those conclusions.
You couldn't see the evidence stacking up against you in the trial.
What? A smear on my pants? What is that? The man had just killed my wife with the same bat that he attacked me with.
Wasn't there blood splatter on your pants?
No, a smear.
Fontenelle was released years ago, while Myers was twice recommended by the Louisiana Pardon Board for a reduced sentence. He had been denied by former Governor Bobby Jindal, but on Tuesday, Governor Edwards signed his papers to freedom. Myers leaves Angola as a trustee and longtime editor of the award-winning Angolite magazine. Now, in recent years, there's been a petition and a website calling for his release. Now, we're still looking for family or friends of Myers so that we can get in touch with him for an interview, so stay tuned.
He basically claimed that he wrestled his best friend for about 12 hours in the house after he saw his best friend do it to his wife or kill his wife, but then they got tired wrestling, so they sat down, watched TV together, and then when they were done watching TV, they continued to wrestle. Meanwhile, they're toddlers. The whole thing is so ridiculous, and he insisted he was innocent for a long time, and then eventually he got out by commutation, and now he runs this non-for-profit, which pushes legislation because it allows them to get money to house these inmates. Anyways, so we believe it was an opportunity for legislators to address fairness with respect to nonviolent offenders, which makes up about 65% of the 34,000 state inmates. Yet he really only seems to represent the most terrible crimes. So I don't know. It's one thing to say it, another we just don't see. We don't see these type of offenders getting taken Act 122. But this is what this offender, anyways, why he's allowed parole. It's because of Act 122. So Act 122 will allow for parole eligibility after 15 years for people with a life sentence for nonviolent offenses, but prior laws more in line for reforms in 2017. So in a nutshell, it basically says, I think it's if you are above the age of 40 and served more than 20 years on your sentence, it makes you parole eligible. And really, you could say, well, what else is behind this? Like, why was this legislation passed through? What's the agenda? And the answer always is follow the money. Housing aging prisoners is very expensive. It's no longer profitable. And many of these prisons in Louisiana are privately owned, publicly traded companies, businesses. And Angola is basically the size of a small city where it's self-sustainable, and everything is being made. The food they eat is the slaughterhouses in Angola for the food they eat. Everything is there. So and there's a profit-making machine and an aging patient is old. So what do? They pass legislation to get rid of these aging, expensive patients. This was a bipartisan act. Both sides of the aisle could say, look what we did. We lowered prison rate and we're bringing down tax costs, but it's not really, because taxpayer money is now funneled. Instead of paying the system here, it's paying it to places like the Parole Project to house these inmates. And it's less costly for the publicly traded profit machines as in the prisons. Now, do your own research on this. Don't take it just from me, but that's my takeaway at least. Anyways, back to this hearing. It was clearly he's dangerous to get out. I'm not taking a chance on him when you're talking about children. For those of you who want to say, well, why didn't you have compassion for him? My answer to you is have compassion for the children. When someone does this again and again and again, you cannot take that chance. Some people cannot be living amongst us in society, and the parole board was able to point that out in only the way that this parole board can. And with that, I'll let you go.
Did you ever cover yourself in Vaseline?
No,
We got the wrong person. Are you Michael Dorsey?
I am Michael Dorsey.
Why are you? Do you know where the aggravated burglary charge comes from?
No, when they came get me at nighttime, took me to the police station, they said I was charged with criminal trespass. I was on government problem on the board list.